Hello, everyone. Catchy1383 with Catchy Gaming, and Kirby Air Riders just came out. And I wasn't too thrilled about this game, but I thought I could make some content out of it. And yes and no, mainly due to a opinion that I have formed on the game. But also, I thought maybe it might be something I could play and see if it could be a possible alternative to Mario Kart World, since I knew some people just aren't happy with that game. And then we have a possible option for them that's still a Nintendo title. And I'm kind of wishing I played the demo that they put out just a little bit, because I could have easily made that a decision probably based on that demo. Not the first time it would have happened either. The same thing happened to Princess Peach Showtime. I did not buy that game because of the demo. But Kirby Air Riders, I wanted to like this game. But after trying to get into it for a couple of days now, I just can't. I don't like the game. It's nothing to do with Kirby himself or the characters in the game. That I don't have a problem with. I won't say I'm a Kirby fan, but I do associate Kirby with fun, quality titles, along with Sakurai making the game. So I went in there blind, which, yeah, it can be a good thing, can also be a bit of a bad thing too, where I spent $70 on a game that I don't like. So let's get into it. First, I didn't just jump in there blind. I actually did what they recommended and go into the training section of the game, and I did all of them. Every single last training scenario that they put forward, so I knew how to play the game. Passing all their tests with flying colors and all that other fun stuff. And honestly, this is where it kind of began with me not really liking the game. I mean, just getting through the training section, it took a good chunk of time. Now, there are aspects to this game that, yes, that are pretty neat. Like, I like the glide mechanic. I like it a lot better than I do in Mario Kart World. That part is neat. But to be honest, it's the controls themselves that I kind of have a bit of a gripe with. They feel loose, like exceptionally loose, to the point where I'm just kind of annoyed that I'm constantly over controlling. I mean, even with some time playing the game, I got better at it, but it's still, I just don't like how easy it is to just wobble around and go off course. I mean, I had a bit of an issue with that in Mario Kart World, where the controls are a bit stiffer. This is exceptionally loose in comparison, and I just don't like it. But it's not just that, it's also doing some of the inputs or how some of the mechanics work, like having this boost ability, but you slow down to do a boost, and then you have the drifting boost, which is fine. But the other kind of issue I have with it is just the constant forward movement that they have with the game. I mean, it is a bit of a novelty, but not being able to control that without having to pump the brake constantly on certain turns or just drifting around the corner, it just doesn't feel right, is the best way I can describe it. The lack of being able to control my forward speed by being able to press a button just doesn't mesh with me personally. And then there's the game itself outside of the training scenarios. So I did a couple of races. And I literally mean just a couple of races just to see what it was like. And I'm pretty sure the PDCs are on the most basic level possible when I did this race. And to be honest, I didn't like it. It's busy, but not in a way that I find particularly fun or enjoyable. I don't like the melee that they have where you have to jerk the analog stick back and forth, which I definitely did not like. I think that is like a major flaw. Why don't they just have a button or a combination of buttons for that? I don't know. But that's almost a necessity to have that ability in order to fight off the NPCs that you're racing against. I mean, I got away with it on my first couple races because, like I said, it's on the most basic level of the game. But then there's the necessity to constantly be attacking, swallowing things just to gain boost to maintain speed and keep pulling ahead, which I also have an issue with where you constantly just need to boost all the time. Yes, you kind of have to do it in Mario Kart World, but it feels like it's more of a necessity in this in comparison. And it kind of reminded me of Nitro Kart, that's what it was, where you constantly had to be basically doing a boost, even on straightaways, the whole entire time, otherwise you are going to lose. That's what this felt like to me, and I just like, I don't particularly care for that. On top of that, the courses are really short, which can be to its advantage. But simultaneously, it's very fast and loose, which it just did not mesh well with me. That's the best way I can put it. Now, I will give him one thing. When Sakurai made the game, you do unlock things for completing things like races or events, which you can unlock a whole bunch of things. I mean, a lot of it I just don't care about, like stickers, themes, or icons. But you can unlock characters and other air riders as well, which is really, really neat, and a callback to gaming back in the day where you didn't have to pay DLC to get these things. They actually just gave it to you on the game. Now, I will also say something else positive. I do actually like the aesthetics of the game. The tracks are actually really pleasant to look at. They're really nice. I will admit that. The tracks are beautiful. And I wish I could say something about the music, but I honestly can't recall anything about it because I'm usually just focused on what's happening on the track in front of me. So after giving the race a couple more tries, I decided to move on to something a little bit different. I moved on to Road Trip, which I guess is the story mode for this game. And they have this whole entire lore where all these air riders, as they call them, were falling from space onto planet Popstar, along with a sentient machine that looks like it's more of a head that got decapitated, falling onto the surface of planet Popstar at some point or another, and all the air riders deciding that they needed to go in the direction of said head being called there. So this gameplay mode just has Kirby going on a straight road, and then you choose basically what event you want to do. And the event is just a mini game, like a single lap race or collecting food, stuff like that, and it adds stats to your machine. They're very brief and very basic. There's really not much going on with this. And because I put it on, admittedly, again, the most casual mode I could get, which is literally just casual, it took almost no effort whatsoever to actually beat a lot of these events. And thankfully, because I was still struggling with the mechanics of this game and how loose the controls were when I started playing this, I only got like a little better after I was done doing all the stuff, exploring the game, trying to find something that would drive me forward and become better at the game or find something enjoyable, but not really. It didn't happen with the road trip because it was just the same thing of going down this single straight road, do a mini game, get a boost, fight a bigger, badder version of a rider, get another boost in some form or stat, and then you like choose an item at one point or another. And unbeknownst to you, if you don't know what you're choosing, it will decide what course you're going to next. But I'm also going to talk about some of the mini games, like this one right here, where you're looking down the top down. Absolutely hated this thing. did not enjoy it at all. I mean, it's not the first time I've experienced anything like this. I found it disorienting and weird and kind of awkward to control, and I was not enjoying myself whatsoever with this particular event. So after just going from event to event, figuring out what was going on, playing the various mini games that they had to offer, and figuring out that the scenarios that they had were just going to repeat, maybe on different tracks, or was going to fight a bigger version of the enemies, like right here, but literally just the same scenario, but whatever reason, it's just bigger and badder. Or I stop at rest areas, grab a stat, go on. It just got repetitive to a point of annoyance where it's like, oh, this is all I'm going to do here. It's just the same events over and over again. The exact same mini games just keep popping up. That's all that happens here. And I'm kind of wondering how long that's going to go in order to get to the end of the game, or I should say the road trip. And I'm kind of wondering if there's some very specific things you need to do to get like a better ending or a true ending, stuff like that, which would not surprise me since it is Sakurai. But at this point, I just was not enjoying myself, so I decided to move on to something else. So I decided to check out the city trial, and I made probably the mistake of doing free roam because there's absolutely nothing there to do except for drive around on the city, going off of jumps and other things. So my time in free roam did not last long. I mean, I guess it's a different way of becoming better at driving, but I just did not care in any capacity about it. So then I did the stadium, which again is probably a bit of a mistake because it's just all the same mini games that I've been playing on the road trip again. So I was like, ugh. Not really much I wanted to do here. I could still play those just by doing the road trip and get something that represents some form of forward accomplishment done with that. So though I didn't really see any point in doing any of the mini games in the stadium. And that's kind of where I called it. I just wasn't enjoying myself. Like Reggie Fils-Aimé said, if you're not having fun, why bother? Honestly, depending on your taste in games, if you're similar to mine, you're probably not going to enjoy this game, and I really can't recommend it. I know there's a lot of nostalgia for the GameCube game, which I missed out on when I was a teenager when that came out. And I know there's a bunch of people trying to compare this to Mario Kart World, outside of it being another racing game with some combat elements. They're really not the same game. I've still seen people try and make the comparison, mainly because it seems to be a source of contention that they had to pay $80 for Mario Kart World, and they're kind of angry about it, so they're lashing on to anything, which is very apparent. Yes, I don't exactly agree with that $80 price tag, and I've said as much in the past. But to be honest, you're not going to have a fair comparison between the two. There are two different types of racing games. Sure, there's some things that are in common, which I guess you could make a comparison to. The mechanics are so fundamentally different that it's not even a good comparison in any shape or form. I mean, I guess if I were to make one, I would choose on entertainment factor. I enjoyed Mario Kart World more than I did this. I enjoyed the overworld on the Mario Kart World, finding all the challenges, Peach tokens, and all the other fun stuff they had going on there. And I did do a couple of races with friends, which they did improve upon after several updates. But outside of this, I would not say Kirby Air Riders is a distinct alternative to Mario Kart World. Some people will probably enjoy it. If you do, that's cool. I don't care. I didn't find it enjoyable, mainly due to the controls. But if you enjoy it, go for it. But if you have a similar taste in video games like I do, you're probably not going to enjoy this game. And do yourself a favor and just don't purchase it. Think of me as your canary in the coal mine and don't go that route. And I know that take's probably going to make a lot of people angry telling them that this game isn't fun, but whatever, it's the internet. Anyways, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Have a good one.